A good day to you, ladies and gentlemen, especially to Sir Don Magtibay. This is indeed a great day to present my Understanding the Self final examination. But before that, I would like to introduce you myself. I am Helena Maylor Rasin Candido from BS Ed Major in English, Section 1YAMGO5, your presenter for today. As we all know, that understanding the self has different perspectives. So, from the lessons and or videos that was presented to us, I have chosen to discuss with you the self using the psychological perspective. The psychology of self focuses on the representation of an individual based on his or her experiences. These experiences are either from the home, school, and other groups, organizations, or affiliations he or she engaged in. Also in psychology, the sense of self is defined as the way a person thinks about and views their traits, beliefs, and the ways on how do they give and fulfill their purposes within the world. The self as a cognitive construction is a cognitive approach wherein it focuses on the mental processes rather than the observable behaviors. With that, we can connect and use the theory of cognitive development of Jean Piaget on determining on how do a person develop their sense of self intellectually. The stages of cognitive development was created and originated by a Swiss psychologist named Jean Piaget who works for several decades on understanding children's cognitive development. Through Piaget's curiosity, he came up with this comprehensive theory about the nature of human intelligence and examined the implications not only to the aspect of cognition but also to intelligence, moral, and psychological development of a child. With the help of his thorough conduct of observations to his children, he is able to come up into the different cognitive concepts and the stages of development wherein he became known for his contribution to the psychological perspective of self. According to Piaget, there are four basic cognitive concepts, which is the schema, assimilation, accommodation, and equilibration. All of these concepts plays an important role on determining the development of a child through his proposed four stages of cognitive development that is vital in understanding the self psychologically. So here are the four stages of cognitive development by Jean Piaget. So we are going to talk about first the first stage of cognitive development, which is the sensory motor stage spanning from birth to age 2. In this stage, children is developing their knowledge through senses, through the sense of seeing, hearing, smell, touch, and taste. Also, children are highly dependent on their ability of object permanence, the ability of the child to know that an object still exists even when out of sight. The second stage of the cognitive development is the pre-operational stage, spanning the age of 2 to 5 years old. During this stage, children can now make mental representations, imaginations, through symbolic function, through egocentrism, centration, irreversibility, animism, and lastly, through transductive reasonings. Stage 3 of the cognitive development is the concrete operational stage spanning the age of 6 to 11. In here, they develop the fundamentals of logic and now they can understand the laws of conservation to concrete things. In this stage, children can now have the ability of decentering wherein the child can now perceive different features of objects and situations. Reversibility, they can now follow certain operations that certain thing or situation can be done in reverse. And lastly, the seriation, which refers to the ability to order or arrange things in a series. And the fourth and last stage of the cognitive development is the formal operational stage spanning the age of 12 and up. In this stage, they are able to hypothesize, test, re-evaluate, and solve abstract problems. Their thinking becomes more logical through hypothetical, logical, and deductive reasonings. Up with what I have discussed is that as a living human being or individual, we all undergo or to conquer the four stages of cognitive development from a very simple understanding to the complex understanding of things around us. Cognitively, the way we process, the way we perceive and apply learnings and decisions, especially to ourselves, to be able to reach the full human intelligence aspect on how do we acquire things, or especially the knowledge, systematically and gradually to become better in any situation. And lastly, this cognitive development varies from one child to another because some hasn't developed in time or they have lack of cognitive processes aspect and the other factors that can affect their mental growth. So to conclude with, we are all not the same, and to assume that everybody has the same levels of cognitive understandings, so let us be wise and kind always. And that would be all, and thank you so much for listening.